Alright, this is Vegeta8259, and this is the review of the 1:144 scale Nightingale. And this is a resin cast model kit, originally made by B Club. Mine is actually a recast made by Super G. And what that means is that it's not your typical plastic snap-together model kit. And for more insight on that, just go back and watch my work in progress series on this kit if you haven't seen that already. So anyway, this is the finished and completed, painted, decaled, top-coated Nightingale. And I have to say, overall, I'm really pleased with the way it looks. I'm not too pleased with the way it holds together, but I do like the way that it looks. So as long as it's just standing still, I love it. Anyway, I guess for colors, as you saw in the work in progress, the whole kit's molded in kind of a tannish resin color. I did get a few gray parts just because the Super G had molded some of the joints in gray resin. And of course I used polycaps and some aftermarket joints on it as well. The colors, I went pretty basic with the colors. This is the standard color scheme for Nightingale. I didn't really change anything. I just used straight red. I did some very, very slight pre-shading on the red parts. In fact, you can probably barely even tell it's there. I used just straight yellow, straight white for the white parts. The gunmetal color is a color I mixed up myself. It's about 50% black, 50% silver. The gray is just about 50-50 white and black. The black is actually, I mixed up like 90% black and about 10% white, so it's actually just a really, really dark gray. And I think that's it for all the colors. Let's see, I'll just do a very slow turnaround. And, let's see, what else? As far as decals go, as you can see, I've applied those. Got a nice MSN 042 on the front skirt there, Neo Xeon decal on the shield, and then just some various little caution symbols and markings and things like that. Some of these little emblems, though, were actually molded into the resin, like this down here on the crotch, that was molded into the resin. This Neo Xeon symbol here, Castle Daikun there, and there. And originally there was a Neo Xeon symbol that was molded onto the shield, but I sanded that off and decided to use a decal instead. Although, it might have been smarter just to leave it on there because this yellow for the decal isn't quite as bright as the yellow paint I used. This little symbol down here, what I thought for a long time looked kind of like a swastika. I just now hit me yesterday that that's an NZ overlapping each other for Neo Xeon. And all these years I looked at Nightingale and thought it was a swastika or an X or something, but it just now dawned on me that that was a NZ. So, I guess now we'll go into articulation. This is where the review is going to get kind of tricky. I said earlier that I like the way this kit looks, but I wasn't pleased with the way it's holding up. I mean, I guess I'm the one to blame for it because I'm the one that installed all the joints for this kit, but I mean, a lot of resin kits, especially big bulky ones like this, will have weight issues. And like my Kshatriya 1:100 scale, it had weight issues and actually ended up toppling off my shelf. I had to glue the whole thing back together. And I think I did better on Nightingale than I did on Kshatriya, but still he's kind of unstable. And it's mainly just the hips and this giant back skirt that are giving me trouble. But anyway, I guess we'll start from the top and work our way down. The head I've got on a ball joint, but as you can tell from the shape of the head, you're not really going to get much movement out of it. You got some up and down, a little bit of rotation, but not much. I mean, that's about all you're going to get out of the head for this guy. Let's see, these big binders, I installed these Revoltech type joints right there. So as you can see, got all the thrusters painted up under there. So it's actually got some nice, let me move this camera, rotation, and it can move up and down and side to side and swing in and out, and it's actually got pretty good movement. And that Revoltech joint is stable enough that you know, there aren't really any weight issues with these binders, so that's good. These propellant tanks and thrusters on the back were supposed to be mounted with ball joints, but I just secured those in with brass pins, and I didn't really see the point in those wiggling around, so I just made those fixed pose. Let's see, I've got the same type of Revoltech joint for the shoulder. I can't even talk this morning. Same type of Revoltech joint for the shoulder. It's got some up and down movement. Move over here. So up and down, forward and back. Technically, you could probably rotate 360 if you take the shield off. In fact, let me take the shield off. I made the elbow joints fixed pose with a metal rod just because the elbow joint that came with the kit was really, really weak. So it's got rotation at the elbow, but that's about it. No real bending. All of the hands, there are 4 of them actually, are on tiny little ball joints so they can rotate and wiggle around. The shield is actually something I've tried for the first time, using magnets to work on a model kit. I actually drilled out a hole, put a magnet inside there, and then filled that in with putty and sanded it down nice and smooth. And when I painted over it, you can't even tell the magnet is there at all. And here's the same magnet right here on the shield. And when you bring them close, they just snap together, and the shield stays put. Let's see, I do have rotation at the waist. However, just because of Nightingale's design, you're really not going to get much rotation out of it at all. I mean, about that much is all you're going to get, unfortunately. Let's see, these front skirts are on a small ball joint, so they can go up and down and wiggle a little bit. And we've got these tiny little arms on the bottom of the skirt armor, and those can flip out. I've got those on some small little Kotobukiya joints, and those can flip out, and you've got these little claws here. Those will open up. Got, let's see, I hope I accidentally didn't glue it in place. I think I did. It's supposed to go back and forth and rotate, but I think I accidentally glued that tiny little joint in place. But no biggie. And those just fold right back up, and you can just put that front skirt right back on there. Let's see, the side skirts, the way I've got them attached, they can go up about that far and go down and rotate a little bit. The ginormous back skirt, I was supposed to be able to go up and down, but I pretty much had to just glue it in place because the weight issues were so bad with it that it was making the kit completely unstable. So without gluing it in place, my Nightingale wouldn't even be able to stand up. Let's see, for the hip, I'm not going to be able to actually show you much movement with the legs just because of the weight issues. The hips are on the same Revoltech joints that I use for the shoulders. The knees do have a little bit of bend, not much. The legs are kind of bulky, so you're not going to be able to get much bend out of the knees. I've got a double ball joint for the ankle, so you've actually got quite a bit of movement out of the ankle. It can rotate a full 360 around there. Shield's getting in the way. And it can go forward and back and side to side quite a bit. These individual toes right here were supposed to be on little hinge joints, but I found that even with those hinges installed, the toes didn't move all that much, so I just installed some brass rods to fix those in place, so the toes don't move on mine, even though they were supposed to on the original kit. Alright, I think that actually about does it for articulation on this guy. Like I said, he does come with 4 hands. He comes with 2 closed fists. He comes with 1 open palm for the left arm, and then 1 trigger finger for the right arm. As far as weapons and accessories go, you already saw the shield and the little magnet trick. He does come with the same beam sword that Sazabi has, but he's got no blade for it. And on top of that, he's got no hands that would be able to hold it. So pretty much the only thing you can do is just glue it to the back of the shield. That's what I did, because he can't really use it any other way. Got these little missiles here on the bottom of the shield. The beam rifle is actually pretty nice. It's probably the only part of the kit that didn't give me any problems. It's just a long beam rifle, nothing really fancy about it. However, you got this nice little coolant tank right here, and kind of like Gundam Dynames from 00, you've got these little stands that come out on the bottom, and they can separate, and you can have kind of a laying down pose if Nightingale could ever lay down. I don't think it's possible. But yeah, you've got those on the beam rifle, and I thought that was a nice little touch. Anyway, I'm disappointed that I couldn't show you more of this kit because of his instability, because there are a few nice little details, like the bottom of the thrusters and the bottom of the back skirt, which I wish I could show you. Let me see if I can get this camera a bit lower and show you like this kind of stuff on the bottom of the back skirt. You got those big white propellant tanks down there, these thrusters and things on the bottom of the leg armor and bottom of the side skirts, these nice decals that were on the back of the legs, just things like that. So anyway, I guess I'll finish off this review with some size comparisons, because I know you guys know that Nightingale is big, but some size comparisons will be necessary to just let you know how big. Anyway, here is a standard 1:144 scale mobile suit, pretty average size. It's RX-78, and as you can see, Nightingale towers above him. And yeah, Nightingale is at least 3, maybe probably 4 times bigger than RX-78. Let's put him aside. Bring out the Nightingale's nemesis, the High Nu Gundam. Yes, I have painted it, and no, I haven't reviewed it since I've painted it. But anyway, so there's Nightingale next to the High Nu Gundam. Still much bigger than Amuro's suit. And here we go, next to Sazabi, the mobile suit that Nightingale was based on. And actually, I guess I should take this moment to explain exactly where Nightingale comes from. In the movie Char's Counterattack, Char piloted the Sazabi, which most of you should be familiar with. In the novelization, i.e. the book form of Char's Counterattack, called Beltatrika's Children, Sazabi was not present. Instead, Char piloted the Nightingale, which was basically just a souped-up, more powerful version of the Sazabi. So, that's the backstory behind Nightingale. And as you can see, Sazabi is taller than Nightingale, but in terms of overall mass, Nightingale is still quite a bit larger than Sazabi, even though Sazabi's got him as far as head height goes. And one last size comparison with something a little bit more recent. Here we've got, whoops, he's tilting backwards, the 1:144 scale Kshatriya. And as you can see, Kshatriya, again, is taller than Nightingale. And Kshatriya is a bit more massive than Nightingale, just because of these 4 giant binders that Kshatriya's got. But, so Nightingale is slightly smaller, but not by much. They're about the same size. Which is a point that I've used to argue that if Bandai can make a high-grade Kshatriya, there's no reason in the world they can't make a high-grade Nightingale. And if they did, I would certainly buy one just to have something that's a bit more stable than this resin kit. So, I honestly can't think of anything that still needs to be gone over. Anyway, my final verdict on this kit is that it looks fantastic. In my opinion, of all the Nightingale resin kits that are out there, which are only like a handful, I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 normal ones, 6 if you include the super deformed Nightingale. Out of all of those, I think this one has the best proportions. And by that I mean it's the most accurate to the original line art of Nightingale. And I really like the overall design and look of this 1:144 scale B Club Nightingale. Let's see, the bad part about this kit is that it's incredibly unstable if you try to install joints in it, unless you just tighten them up unbelievably and are better at installing joints than I am, because I'm no expert at it. I've only done it, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 times, and I kind of wish I had just made this guy a fixed pose kit. But then again, all of my kits just stand on a shelf, so posability isn't really that big of an issue for me. So if you're one of those people that posability is all that matters to you in a kit, don't buy this. You're probably going to hate it. But if you're one of those people that really likes kind of bizarre mobile suit designs, or if you're a really big fan of Char, or if you're just a fan of the Nightingale, I would definitely recommend it. However, I would recommend building it as a fixed pose kit, meaning make it not posable. Just glue all the parts together and use brass rods to get everything stable. One last thing I did forget to go over was the funnels. They do come out. I've got them kind of tight. Let me see if I can pull one off. Okay, here we go. Anyway, I've got like a tiny little metal pin in there, and then I've got the funnel here and a hole in the bottom of it. So yeah, funnels are pretty simple, just like Cubelaze funnels, but that is how they are attached. So I guess that about screw it. I guess that about does it for this review. I'm glad to be done with this kit. I think it looks good, but man, I'm really glad to be done with it. So with that, I will see you guys next time.